How y'all doing? It's Jared. This is a Thrunite TC15 flashlight, right? This is some nerdy shit, right? But this light blows me away. All of these flashlights that I've been getting recently have just kind of been blowing me away, just shocking me on the technology that's out there today. You know what I mean? Because flashlights, for me, they're a good example of where technology's going. You know what I mean? How far technology and battery power and, you know, LEDs and, you know, just all of this crazy stuff is actually going. You can tell a lot of that in flashlights, you know, affordable flashlights. You know what I mean? This thing isn't extremely expensive for what you get. 2,300 lumens on its max. 2,300 lumens, and then it's like 1,050 on high, I think 250 on medium, 25 lumens on low, 1 for the Firefly. And so it's got a whole, you know what I mean, it's got a lot of different settings. You can go all over the place with it. So there's a little computer in here, right? When you're actually pushing this button and using this thing, there's a little computer going on in there that's actually working to select whatever mode you're getting. And then the time that this thing runs on. This thing, it's rated for, here's the actual power rating is what I'm reading this thing from, but it's rated at 2,300 lumens for 2 minutes, and then it bumps down to 820 lumens for 83 minutes, right? 820 lumens for 83 minutes. 83 minutes. That's an interesting, that's what it says too. I mean, look at this. 83 minutes. That's pretty freaking exact. I wonder why they did that one. But I mean, dude, that's an amazing thing. The amount of power that can actually come out of this thing. It'll run on the Firefly mode for 41.5 days. 41.5 days on the Firefly mode, right? You hold it down for longer in a second, you get that little bit of a Firefly mode, and you can barely tell that it's on. I mean, I have to point it directly at the lens of the camera to actually be able to tell that that thing's on. So being able to have that really small, really dim amount of light for such a long period of time, because I carry around this thing in my pocket most of the time. This thing's actually been in my backpack since I've got it. It has replaced the, what is this? PowerTac E9 that was in my backpack before. But I carry this thing on my person. It's an LFO, I think. Yeah, LF02, FL02 for Mac Army. I carry this thing around in my pocket, and I use that little dim setting most of the time. You know what I mean? Unless I'm looking in a hole, unless I'm actually trying to do something, I'm going to be using a dimmer setting. And so the battery on this, right? Having the larger battery on this thing, right? That it actually does. You can see it's a rechargeable here. It's got it listed on what it actually is. I think it's like an 18650. Yeah, 18650. So rechargeable here. And so it's a lot. I mean, that's a good power bank. It supplies a lot of light for a good period of time. It blows me away because honestly, I mean, this is what I grew up with. This is a mag light. This thing's rated at like 250 lumens, and it's not. I mean, it gives you like 180 lumens, and then it's got AA batteries in the back of this thing, and they die all the freaking time. This thing will run batteries down. It's probably got like 2 hours of actual playing it before the batteries die. And this was high tech. This was a nice light. You know what I mean? Mag light back in the day was like the ultimate light. You could run them over with a truck and shoot them with a shotgun and do all of these crazy things. Cops would use them as batons, beating dudes over the head with them. You know what I mean? So this was like the light, you know what I mean? This was the cool thing, and now these things are just peeing on it. You can't really beat somebody over the head with this thing. You can use it as a Kubaton, definitely give somebody a good smack, but it's just it's an amazing jump in technology, and being able to get this thing for the price that you actually can from Thrunite is freaking amazing. I do like the actual button. I like the way that it's done. It's nice. You know what I mean? I think it's made out of aluminum, and it's got that little bit of an indicator there, but it's not that rubber coating. You know, like on the old lights, it got that rubber coating that'll kind of wear off over time. This is a solid material. You know, you've got that light on the interior. It's never going to wear down, and so the surface finish here is never actually going to change, and it's nice. You mean, it's got this little bit of milling pattern around it. The button is actually recessed in there, and so it's not an entire button, so the button has this little collar around it. It's got a nice aesthetic. This is weird. The bolt thing going on here is actually kind of strange, and it leads it to being a little bit difficult to actually find the button. That's one thing that, like, the biggest negative that I would give this light is in the dark, it is kind of hard to actually find that button. I wind up just kind of feeling around for it until I actually do find the button. But you can use the little rubber here to actually work as an indicator is what I've, you know what I mean? If I find the rubber, I know where the button is, or if I find the button, obviously I know where the button is. So that kind of solves that problem, but I mean, the bolt section here is just kind of strange, but I do like the overall milling. The coating on this thing is definitely really nice. I've dropped it a few times. It's got a couple little dents and dings in it. I mean, it's definitely not indestructible, but it's a nice coating. I do like the way the overall aesthetics of this thing. It's not looking all crazy, you know. It doesn't have the. I like this. You know what I mean? I'm not trying to talk shit. Some people really aren't going to appreciate this. Bash it in, you know what I mean? They call this like a DNA sampler or something like that, so you can steal somebody's DNA and then give it to the cops and they can track them down later. That's legitimately one of the marketing purposes for something like this on the end of a flashlight, as gruesome as that is, you know. That's a mean thing. This thing is definitely designed for that fighting purpose, that tactical duty purpose. This thing is capable for that. This is definitely a duty-capable flashlight, especially since, I mean, it'll kind of fit in this little holster here. You can get a holster for it. It actually comes with one in the box, you know what I mean? So you can carry this thing around. It's a good duty flashlight. You can definitely beat somebody over the head with it. Nice nylon, you can see, stretchy nylon. That's a cool, nice little sheet Thrunite. See what actually comes in the box. The box is nice hard cardboard charger, lanyard, and all that nice accoutrement that always comes in there. But it's the material of the box that really just kind of thrills me on a lot of different stuff. It's nice cardboard. And so it is definitely a, you know, carry capable light. You can use this thing EDC. You can carry it on you if you're a security guard or police, something like that. It's that 2300 lumens with a double click. You can see I just double click it there and it goes automatically to the turbo. I'll get 2300 lumens for 2 minutes, right? That's a lot of light. I think it's rated at like 246. Again, it's a very specific number. Where is it at? The distance, the distance, 246. Why not 248, 245? How come it's not 245 meters? They get 246 meters. How do they know you get that extra little 1 meter to make it 246 over 245? I'd like to know why that number is 246. Yeah, but I mean, that's a lot of light. You know what I mean? There's a lot of just power, you know what I mean? Just the overall capability that this thing gives you. You can throw it in your pocket. It basically weighs nothing. And I mean, it's less than $100. I mean, I think it's less than $75. I don't actually know. I'll put the price and the actual, you know, place to purchase this thing down in the description, but it's just definitely a cool thing. Thrunite TC15. Thrunite's a badass company. I like the dudes over there. Good people. I'm going to take you outside, actually get some beam shots. Yep, dark. Oh, there's the Firefly. You can see the stairs here going down my beat-ass stairs. But it's a twirly stair. Isn't the twirly staircase such a dope thing? And then there's the 2300 lumen on the double click, and it's just kind of ridiculous. Again, I'll just go to my palm tree over there that I've been using as a kind of a standard reference. If I click it down, give it one click, actually turn the thing on. That's the low setting there. You can kind of see it just flopping on the top of the house there. I mean, it definitely lights up the end of the trees. It's got a good flood. You mean it's a good wide beam. Hold the button, turn it up, actually rotate through the settings. I think this is 250 lumens. The first one there was 25. Hold the button again. No, where am I at? Okay, so that's the low. There we go. So that's on high. Double click. Give you that 2300 lumens. Click again. Nope, sorry. What is it? Yeah. Double click again. So it's a double click to get to the strobe. Double click, get to the get to the turbo mode. Double click again, get to the strobe. My camera can actually handle this. And Possum is sitting down here like, throw the thing for me. Is that right, dog? Try not to flash her in the face. So this thing actually heats up. It's cool to me that these little, like, they look like cooling fins, kind of, and it's milled in there. It looks like it's going to radiate heat off of it, and that's legitimate because this thing does seriously heat up. It doesn't get hot. I mean, it's not uncomfortable. It would actually probably be comfortable if you're walking in the cold, something like that. If you're outside at night, turning this thing on the turbo mode for a little bit, it's going to work like a little hand warmer. It's definitely kind of a nice thing, but it pumps out a lot of heat, so it's definitely understandable why it bumps down to the neck, bumps down to that 820 setting after you're running it on there for so long. I really am impressed with this thing. The fact that it actually has to bump down because this light is pumping out so much freaking power. It's ridiculous. That's why it has to bump down to that 820 setting after 2 minutes on the turbo mode, because 2300 lumens is freaking ridiculous for something this small with a singular bulb to be putting out. That's a Thrunite TC15. Another flashlight, but this one's cool. That's it. Y'all have a good one.